And then we have another traditional philosophy, which is perennialism. Perennialism is the oldest philosophy of education. From the word perennial, no? Pag sinabing perennial, if what is good today will be good tomorrow and the other year and the next years to come. Perennial. Okay? Ang perennialism ay kasama dito, no? According to Aristotle, if we neglect students' reasoning skills, we deprive them to use higher faculties to control their passion and their appetites. Okay? So, pag sinabi nating reasoning skill, iba ito sa problem-solving skill. But in problem-solving, you need the reasoning skill. Pero ang sinasabi dito ng perennialism ay yung kakayahan ng bata to develop their intellect, okay? Their intellect. So, utak ang pinag-uusapan na naman dito. Parehas ito sa essentialism. Medyo magkahawig ang perennialism at essentialism dahil nga both of them are traditional philosophies. So, what to teach? Sabi dito, no? Perennialist curriculum is a universal one on the view that all human beings possess the same essential nature. So, dahil pareha-parehas tayo ng essential nature, pare-parehas din ang ating pag-aaralan. So perennialists believe that one should teach the things that are of everlasting pertinence, the work of the classics, the work of the great books. Pag ito nabasa nyo na, no? Considered great books of ancient, medieval, and modern times are repository of knowledge and wisdom. In other words, no, ang dapat nasa curriculum ng ating education, ng ating university, o ng ating eskwelahan ay nakabase sa mga ginawa o mga kasama doon sa great books, okay? Work of the great books like the Bible, okay? What else? The books of philosophy, the books of literature of Homer, mga ganyan, okay? Kasama dapat sa pinag-aaralan. So parang essentialism siya, okay? Pero, yun nga, mas nauna ang perennialism sa essentialism kasi yung basic skills. Pero sa perennialism, yung mga pinag-aralan noon pa. Okay, the work of the great books, yung hindi pwedeng sabihin hindi na to tama dahil lagi itong tama. Okay? So, perennialist classrooms are centered around pictures, as what I've mentioned to you. It's teacher-centered. Students engage in Socratic dialogues, nakikipag-usap, question and answer, or mutual inquiry sessions to develop an understanding of history's most timeless concepts. To teach the basic skills. Teachers, okay, why teach is to teachers teach not to radically reshape society, but rather to transmit traditional moral values and intellectual knowledge that students needed to become model citizens. So sa essentialist na guro, okay, ang ituturo niya rito, ang dapat niyang isama raw sa curriculum ay yung mga traditional subjects, okay? Yung mga traditional disciplines, yung mga asignatura na basic or fundamental. Kaya kung narinig nyo o nabasa nyo yung 3R, okay, yung 3 R's or yung basic skills na sinasabi natin sa isang tanong sa LET, no, ikabit nyo na yan sa essentialism. Yun yung keyword natin. So mahalaga na dapat alam mo yung keyword per philosophy of education. So ang keyword natin sa essentialism ay yung basic skills, 3 R's. Ano ba itong 3 R's na sinasabi ko? We have reading, writing, and arithmetic. Okay? So pagbabasa, pagsusulat, at pagko-compute ng mathematical problems. Arithmetic or arithmetic. Okay? So yun ang focus ng essentialism. Alright? So yung mga traditional disciplines natin. No, makikita ba natin ito sa ating curriculum sa panahon ngayon? Yes, very obvious. Okay, we can really see the elements of essentialism as a philosophy of education to the present curriculum. Now, the basis of our general education subjects is on essentialism philosophy. Bakit tayo mayroong subjects na Gen Ed, di ba? Ano ba tong Gen Ed subjects natin? Meron tayong math, meron tayong science, meron tayong English, okay, meron tayong literature. Now, looking at these subjects, no, pag elementary ka, pinag-aaralan ito, di ba? May mga subject na math, may English, may science sa elementary. Pagdating ng high school, andyan pa rin yung mga yan, di ba? May mga subject pa rin na math, may mga subject pa rin na English, may subject pa rin na science, pero magkaiba na ang pangalan, di ba? Medyo ano na sila, specific na sila. Kasi sa elementary, general yan, math, science. Pero pagdating dito sa high school, may physics ka ng pinag-aaralan, alam mo na pagkakaiba ng physics sa biology, etc. etc. Now, pagdating ng college, kahit na hindi ka science major, kahit na hindi ka math major, andyan pa rin yung mga subjects na yan. Yung GE subjects natin, you have to still finish a course in mathematics, in basic mathematics. You still have to finish a course in science, science, technology, and society. You still have to finish a course in literature, Philippine literature and world literature. So itong mga subject na ito ay andyan sa ating curriculum dahil naniniwala ang sistema ng edukasyon natin na itong mga subjects na to ay basic. Itong mga subjects na to ay essential. Okay? Na kailangan ng tao para sila ay maging model citizens, 'di ba? O bakit nga ba nagkaroon ka ng subjects pa na literature ay hindi mo man gagamitin pag ikaw ay nagko-computer. Kunwari ang kurso mo ay information technology, ang kurso mo ay engineering. Bakit kailangan mo ng literature? Bakit kailangan mo ng grammar and composition ng mga subjects? Well, because you need them. They are basic skills eh. How can you communicate with your clients if you don't know how to write letters? If you don't know how to communicate with them fluently in English? So in other words, you need these skills because they are basic. Reading is a basic skill. Writing is a basic skill. Arithmetic is a basic skill. Communication is a basic skill. So bakit meron to mga subjects na to hanggang college? Because of the philosophy of essentialism. Our curriculum across levels of education in the country are somehow by elemento na anchored doon sa philosophy of essentialism. So kung bakit ka nagtuturo, why teach? Because you want to let your students acquire certain skills necessary for them to become a model citizen. So what to teach? Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, reading, writing, arithmetic, right conduct kasama sa 3 R's. Pero may 4 R na yung right conduct, yung nilagay nila dyan. Kung makikita nyo yan, kung babalikan natin yung Spanish education, okay, the type of education we had during the Spanish time, andyan yan. Pero yung I think merong inclusion ng religion, okay? Doon sa kanilang essential disciplines na dapat ituro sa mga bata ng panahon ng mga Espanyol. Okay? What to teach, Essentialist curriculum focuses on traditional disciplines as I have mentioned to you, like math, science, history, foreign languages, and literature. So, they don't like vocational subjects. I repeat, they don't like vocational subjects kasi they think these subjects are not essential. Okay, they think these subjects are not essential. Like, ano ba yung vocational subjects natin? Carpentry, ano pa? Garments, cosmetology, food technology. So these subjects, okay, they frown on them. Okay, they frown on them. In other words, they're not clinging to the idea of teaching these subjects in the curriculum. Okay? So how to teach? Yan. So sa essentialist philosophy, ang tingin nila sa sarili nila ay sila ang may mas maraming alam compared sa mga bata. In other words, sila yung sage on the stage. Sila yung authority ng information and they cannot get the same information from other sources compared to the teacher himself or herself. Okay, so essentialists expected to be intellectual and moral models of their students, the fountain of information and the paragon of virtue. In other words, pag essentialist kang teacher, ang tingin mo sa sarili mo, ikaw yung magaling. Okay, ikaw yung model, kumbaga. Okay, at wala kang pagkakamali dapat lagi kang role model sa pananaw at sa paningin ng iyong mga estudyante. Okay, kung paano ka magturo, ang mga strategy mo sa pagtuturo ay drill methods, lecture, memorization. So, your way of teaching is heavily traditional. Okay, walang pagkakataon yung bata na magkaroon ng performance-based assessments or ng authentic assessment kasi nga depende na naman sa itinuturo mo, okay, sa itinuturo mo, kaya iyan nga yung mga klase ng teaching methodology na ginagawa mo sa loob ng klase. Ayun nga, lecture, okay, drill, okay, pag drill method yung may ginagawa ang bata sa kanyang seat, Okay, may pinapagawa kang exercises. So, lagi may ginagawa. At memorization. So, ang tingin mo sa batang matalino ay yung magaling sa pagme-memorize. Okay? Paggaling sa pagme-memorize. Kung napanood nyo yung Three Idiots, okay, yung Three Idiots, yung kalaban ni Rancho, yung isang Indian na mahilig umutot, okay? Yung pag pinag-recite siya na what is a machine, di ba? What is a machine? Sabi ni Rancho, a machine is a device that makes our work easier. Tama naman yun, di ba? That's the purpose, that's the function of a machine. Pero hindi tinanggap ng professor niya kasi hindi galing sa libro. So, ang tingin niya, hindi tama yung sagot ni Rancho dahil hindi ito galing sa libro. So, kung ikaw ay essentialist teacher, you appreciate those students who define or who answers your questions directly coming from the textbook. Okay? Because you think you are the epitome, you are the embodiment of the textbook. Okay? The textbook is you. So, if the students would answer questions that are directly from the textbook, you think it comes from you. Okay? Because you are the fountain of information and you are the paragon of virtue. Very traditional. So, yung mga, kung ikaw ay hindi naman sa matanda, no? Pero pag tatanungin nyo yung mga parents nyo about how their teachers treat them before, mga ganyan yung mga yan, di ba? Sila ang magaling, di ba? Pagka may ginawa kang mali, follow agad. So, ang focus ay discipline to become a moral citizen. Alright? And then now, let's begin with existentialism naman. Okay? Now, existentialism is a progressive philosophy once more. Okay? Para siyang progressivism din, kaya lang ang focus naman ng existentialism ay ang bata ay merong sariling emosyon, ang bata ay may sariling interest from the word exist, okay? I exist, the learners exist. So dahil siya ay nag-e-exist, siya ay may sariling pananaw, siya ay may sariling opinion, siya ay may sariling interest, at kailangan ang teachers ay ma-recognize itong mga pagkakaiba-ibang ito at dapat ay maibase mo ang iyong teaching methodology dito sa profile ng iyong learners. So why teach? Sabi niya, existentialist teachers help students to define their own essence. Okay? Their own essence. Dapat ipalabas mo sa bata, magbigay ka ng oportunidad sa bata na ilabas yung kanyang talento, yung kanyang kayang gawin. Okay? By exposing them to various paths they take in life and by creating an environment in which they really choose their own preferred way. Look, ang keywords natin sa existentialism ay essence, existence precedes essence, choose, okay? Choice nila, preferred way. In other words, kaya nga existentialist, sabi ko kanina, preferred choices. May choices ang bata na pwede niyang pagpilian, okay? May freedom yung bata, okay? Freely choose their own preferred way. So what to teach in an existentialist curriculum? Well, hindi ikaw ang magsasabi. Yung bata ang magsasabi. So students are given a wide variety of options from which to choose. Existentialist philosophy. Sa ibang universities, pwede kang pumili ng subjects mo. Pero sa universities, unfortunately, no, sa atin dito sa Cagayan, no, I don't think there are universities that allows learners to choose which subject they want to take. Pero sa ibang universities like in UP, pagdating ng GE subjects nila, they can choose an array from an array of subjects kung anong gusto nilang ilagay sa GE nila. Okay, also in other universities ganun din. So sana may maskwelahan tayo sa elementary at high school na nagbibigay ng pagkakataon sa mga learners na mamili kung anong subjects ang kukunin nila. One element can be observed in high school. Pagdating ng TLE, pwede kang mamili kung ano ang pupuntahan mo, di ba? Pwede ka sa garments, pwede ka sa cosmetology, pwede ka sa agriculture, electronics, computer technology, and then pagdating ng senior high school, pwede kang pumili kung anong track mo, okay? So yung mga ganyan, existentialist elements yung mga yan, okay? Because it depends on their choice, it depends on what they want, okay? Then what to teach again? Given tremendous emphasis on humanities, to provide students with vicarious experiences. Vicarious are second-hand experiences that will unleash their own creativity and self-expression. So tungkol ito sa sarili. Tungkol ito sa akin. That's the point of existentialism. So how to teach? If you are a teacher who is an existentialist, Existentialist methods focus on the individuals, as what I have mentioned to you. All right? So you have no right to judge students. Okay? Kasi yun sila. That's their nature. You don't have to judge them. Okay? So you have to remain non-judgmental and take care not to impose their values on their students, since values are personal to them. So what may be good to you may be bad for them. What may be beautiful to you may be not beautiful for them. Okay, so in other words, you have to respect their choices. Okay, you cannot impose on them your own values and belief systems because they have their own values and belief systems. And you can see that right now, no? You can see that right now, like in disciplining children. Okay, like in disciplining children. Noon magkaiba ang pagdisiplin ng mga teachers. Kasi dati, kung anong tingin ng teacher na tama, yun ang papagawa niya sa bata. O, huwag kang maingay, mali yan. Huwag kang manggulo, huwag kang sumabat, mali yan. Pero ngayon, magkakaiba na eh. Magkakaiba ng pananaw sa buhay eh. May kakayahan na rin yung bata na sumagot sa bata, sa mga magulang nila, sa mga teachers nila, di ba? Kung ikaw ay magulang, no? Sino dito ang magulang na, may mga anak na at sinabihan na, Mama, hindi mo kami naiintindihan kasi hindi ka naman nabuhay nung panahon namin. O, mga ganung sagot no mula sa kanila. Mama, hindi mo kami naiintindihan kasi nga iba yung panahon mo, iba yung panahon namin sa panahon mo. Okay? So, yung mga ganun, that is a manifestation that our children, the youth of today have developed, okay, a different dimension of thinking which is very different from ours. Kasi noon, pagka sumagot ka, naku, palo agad yan sa nanay at tatay mo, di ba? Wala kang pagkakataon na sumagot kasi ang tama ay nagmula mula sa tatay at nanay mo kung paano ka disiplinahin. Pero ngayon, marami nang pwedeng isagot. Okay? Marami nang kasagutan sa mga tanong ng mga, at hindi mo, pipilosopohin ka pa pag sinabi mo, aba, sumasagot ka na. Mga ganung bagay. Alright? We have progressivism. Okay, this progressivism naman ay hindi na to traditional. This is a progressive philosophy from the name itself, no? Bakit nagtuturo ang isang progressivist teacher? Sabi niya, teachers teach to develop learners to become enlightened and intelligent citizens of a democratic society. Okay? So, pag sinabing democratic society, meron ng choices dito, no? Meron ng karapatan ang mamamayan sa ating lipunan. Hindi lang gobyerno ang merong karapatan, pero ang tao ay may masigit na boses kaysa sa mga tao sa gobyerno. So, at sabi ng progressivist philosophy, kailangan na ang ituro natin na dapat tayo ay magturo hindi lamang para maging model citizen, kundi para marunong na ang mga estudyante o ang mga bata pagka sila ay graduate na kumilatis, no? Kumilatis sa ating lipunan ng tama at mali at maging intelligent citizens, okay? Maging responsable at maging matalinong mamamayan ng isang nasyon, okay? Ng isang democratic society. So, paano maging enlightened at maging intelligent citizen? So, hindi ko sinasabi na dapat mag-rally ka sa EDSA, dapat lagi kang aktivista, o kaya naman ay lagi mong pinupuna ang mga programa ng gobyerno, pero dapat gampanan mo ang tungkulin mo bilang isang mamamayan ng lipunan. Magtrabaho ka. Gawin mo ng mahusay yung trabaho mo para makapag-contribute ka sa taxes at yung taxes na yun ay babalik din sa atin bilang mamamayan ng ating bansa. So, ano ang dapat daw ituro according to progressivist philosophy? Ang dapat mong ituro ay yung mga skills to cope with change. Okay? Skills to cope with change. So, change is a keyword in progressivism. So, pag nabasa nyo na yung change na word sa isang tanong, no, progressivism na agad yan. Okay? So sabi niya sa progressivism, no, it has needs-based and relevant curriculum. So needs-based. At kaninong needs? Hindi sa teacher, kundi sa need ng estudyante. Excuse me. Umuulan na naman, no? Lakas ng ulan sa labas. At sabi nila may paparating na bagyo in the next 2 days, Wednesday or Thursday. Ang tinatahak ay along northern Luzon in Cagayan. So sana magbago yung direction so that we'll not experience the same experience we had last year when we had massive flooding in parts of downstream and here also in the down southern part of Cagayan and Isabela. But anyway, okay, going back, no, has needs-based and relevant curriculum. So kung sa essentialism, may nakatakda na ito dapat ang kasama sa curriculum natin. Reading, writing, arithmetic, literature, everything that is basic. Sabi ng progressivism, no, hindi. Kasi hindi naman lahat yun ay kailangan ng bata eh. Hindi naman yan relevant eh. Pagka graduate ba, kailangan yan yung mga subject na yan? Well, yung mga tanong na yan, tinanong nyo na sa sarili nyo yan siguro, no? But kung kailangan mag-aral ng Rizal, kung kailangan mag-aral ng math, eh, magiging ano ako, magiging secretary ako sa ano, magiging information technologist ako, magiging lawyer ako, ba't kailangan ko pag-aralan yung mga yan? Hindi naman relevant sa akin yan eh. So kung ganyan ang pananaw mo, ayan, at kung ikaw ay magiging administrator someday ng isang eskwelahan at gusto mong ipatupad yung polisiya na dapat ang pag-aralan ng bata ay dapat lead-based lang, dapat relevant sa kanya. Ang tawag dyan ay progressivism. Okay, kasi sa progressivism, prepare ka niya for your life after school. Okay? John Dewey mentioned that education is not a preparation for life, but it is life itself. Sabi niya, no? It's life itself. So dapat, pag nandoon ka na, pumasok ka na sa proseso ng edukasyon, okay, when you are being educated, you have to think that it's your life and you have to prepare yourself, no? And have those subjects and learnings that will give you what kind of life you want in the near future. All right? So, progressivists accept the impermanence of life and the inevitability of change. So, halimbawa, no, ang ating mga science teachers ay magandang ehemplo o magandang example, halimbawa ng mga progressive teachers. Bakit? Kasi ang mga science teachers hindi yan nagtuturo ng mga bagay-bagay na obsolete. Kasi nga ang siyensya ay nagbabago. Ang resulta ng mga pag-aaral ay nagbabago. Kung anong totoo kahapon ay maaring hindi totoo ngayon, 'di ba? Kung anong totoo noong 1960s ay maaring hindi totoo ngayon. So halimbawa, ang planetang Pluto ay hindi na planeta. Noon, nung tayo nag-aaral sa elementary at high school, pantingin natin sa Pluto ay planet. 'Di ba? Pluto is a planet. It belongs to the 9 planets in the solar system. But now, it's no longer a planet. So, it's an inevitability of change. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo maiiwasan ng pagbabago. Kaya mga science teachers, makakategorize natin yan as progressive teachers because they teach, okay, they don't cling to the traditional information. If there are changes, they are acceptable of the changes. They don't say, ala, ang pinag-aralan ko Pluto ang planet, ang Pluto, ba't ko babaguhin? Hindi ganun ang konsepto, hindi ganun ang pananaw. Pero, okay, kasi ganito na. May mga pagbabagong nangyayari, kaya dapat ito ang ituro ko sa bata. Alright, so that's progressivism. Okay? Focus their teaching on the teaching of skills or processes in gathering and evaluating information and in problem solving. In other words, no, pag ikaw ay progressive teacher, you're not into traditional teaching methods. You're not into traditional assessment methods, but you explore methods that are problem solving, problem-based. Okay, problem-based learning. Yung tinuturuan ang bata na mag-solve ng isang problem, hindi word problem pero bibigyan mo siya ng isang sitwasyon. Kung ikaw ay andito sa ganitong sitwasyon, anong gagawin mo? Okay, that's progressivism. Okay? Now, and the last one is emphasize on subjects such as natural and social sciences. Sabi ko nga, no, pag science ang hinuturo mo, malamang sa malamang, progressivist ka. Okay, progressivist ka. Now, ano ang paraan ng pagtuturo ng isang progressive teacher? Sabi dito, by experimental method. So in other words, let your learners learn by doing and not learning by knowing. Okay? So in other words, pag ikaw ay nagtuturo, dapat ginagawa nila. Dapat nagbibigay ka ng pagkakataon o oportunidad sa mga mag-aaral na i-practice nila o i-transform nila yung knowledge o yung theory o yung concept na pinag-iralan nila sa classroom into actual practice. Kaya nga, learning by doing or what we call experiential learning. So let them experience the learning and not just know the learning. O not just know the theories, but let them experience the learning. Kaya hindi ka magtataka kung science teacher ka, maraming pinapa-experiment si teacher, di ba? Marami siyang pinapa-experiment. Laging may pinapagawa, may pinapa-dala kay bata, pupunta sa garden para ganito yung flower, kukunin, i-examine, because that's learning by doing. The environment is very important in the learning process. So when the teacher is able to integrate the environment, okay, in the learning process, that's progressivism. Problem solving, as I mentioned a while ago. So other hands-on, minds-on, hearts-on teaching methodology includes field trips and thought-provoking games. So, di ba? Pag nasa isang classroom ka na progressive ang philosophy, napakaganda, di ba? Teachers, student-centered siya at hindi boring, okay? Sa Amerika, no? Sa Amerika, progressive ang kanilang atake sa pagtuturo pagdating ng high school at elementarya. Sa ibang bansa, hindi na uso yung classroom na ang nasa harap ay teacher, tapos yung mga nakahilera yung upuan, no? Nakahilera yung mga upuan. Sa Singapore hindi ganoon eh. Okay? Meron silang mga tables. Ang tables ay bilog. Okay? Bilog. At ang mga bata ay nakaupo around the circular table. At hindi yung hilera na ganyan. No, hindi na ganoon. Kasi nga it promotes progressive philosophy. Okay, sa atin walang ganoon eh. Mula nung ako'y bata hanggang ngayon, ganoon pa rin ang inuupuan ko. Ganoon pa rin ang klase ng classroom na meron tayo. When will we start, no? Changing the way we look at our classroom. Kasi the way we arrange furnitures in the classrooms reflects the way of how we look at education in our country. Okay, nandun pa rin ang teacher, nasa harap pa rin, ang bata nakikinig. Pero pagdating sa ibang bansa, marami silang activities na ginagawa na pinapagawa sa bata, problem solving, at yung teacher ay nakaantabay lamang, no? Nakagabay lamang sa mga bata sa anong dapat nilang gawin. Okay. Now, let's talk about linguistic philosophy. Well, from the word itself, linguistic philosophy focuses on the development of the communication skills of our learners. So to develop the communication skills of the learner, because the ability to articulate, to voice out the meaning and values of things that one obtains from his or her experience in life and the world is the very essence of man. So, kung ikaw ay AD English, yung mga ganyan, most likely your philosophy in teaching is linguistic philosophy. Kung ikaw ay amazed sa mga learners na mahilig na marunong mag-communicate, you're good in expressing themselves, you're a linguistic, you subscribe to linguistic philosophy. So what to teach? Well, communication. Very clear naman kasi linguistic philosophy nga eh. Verbal communication, non-verbal communication, and paraverbal communication. Okay? Verbal communication happens, oral communication, and written communication. So, hindi ibig sabihin na verbal, oral communication yun. No. Verbal communication means both oral communication and written communication. So, ito nakikita nyo ngayon, that's written communication because I'm informing you of things you need to know through letters that you can read, through words that you can read. Now, verbal, oral naman, itong ginagawa ko, I'm speaking, and you're hearing me, that's oral communication. Now, ano naman ang non-verbal? Non-verbal is using the body language or pictures or icons. Those are non-verbal communications. Pag nakakita ka ng smoking sign, no smoking sign that is giving you for information, that sign is communicating to you, that's non-verbal communication. Pag sabi ko, ganyan, okay, pag sabi ko, okay, mga ganyan, hindi ako nagpapakita, pero pag ganyan, ibig sabihin, peace, di ba? Pag ganito, ang ibig sabihin, thumbs up, di ba? Tama, yung sinasabi mo. Okay, those are non-verbal communication. Sir, ano naman ang paraverbal? Ang paraverbal communication, these are tones, these are intonations in the way you speak things. Okay, like for example, very good. Di ba? Pag sinabi mong, very good. Di ba? Iba yung tono sa, very good. Di ba? So, ibig sabihin, merong sa pagsabi mo ng isang salita, merong ibang kahulugan, depende sa tono mo, depende sa volume ng boses mo, depende sa intonation mo. Alright? Depende sa intonation mo. Ang tawag doon, paraverbal. Alright? For example, good. Sa good. Diba? So, pag good lang, parang wala lang. Good, diba? Sabi nyo, good. Ibig sabihin, medyo na-amaze ka ng konti. Diba? Paraverbal yan. Alright? So, tandaan nyo yan, ha? So, verbal, oral or written, non-verbal through icons, pictures, or body language. Paraverbal is expressed through differences in intonations, tones, volume of voice, and the like. Alright, so how to teach? Well, dahil linguistic philosophy ka, you make the classroom a place for the interplay of minds and hearts. The teacher facilitates dialogue, Socratic din, among learners and between him or her, because in the exchange of words, there is also exchange of ideas. Kung mahilig kang magpa-oral recitation, linguistic philosophy.